Welcome back to End Times Prophecy News for the 11 o'clock report. We have breaking news today. A military helicopter has just crashed. From ABC News at 2:09 p.m., Maryland State Police responding to a military helicopter crash in Leonardtown, Maryland. Officials say 1 died, 2 critical in military helicopter crash in Leonardtown. Here's the report here. A U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter crashed at a golf course in Leonardtown, Maryland, shortly before 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A spokesperson from Fort Belvoir, where the helicopter was based, said at least 1 crew member was medically evacuated from the accident site. It is unclear if there are any fatalities, but no, we actually have the report here that 1 is dead and 2 are critical. It could be by now that all 3 are dead. I mean, just look at this horrific accident. Looks like we saw someone there being walked away. I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like the police are not there yet. See that again. Right there. This man, I guess one of these men are walking away that was part of the crash. I don't know. They look like golfers though with shorts on. So actually I would presume no. Because that's a normal thing that golfers like to use is shorts. But, you know, when it's cool, they look like they're, I don't know what happened here. Maybe he got hurt looking at it. Man, I can't see anyone walking away from that without professional EMTs. So, how sad. Pray for the families of this terrible crash. It is definitely horrific. And next up, we have more bad news. A man was just found hanged in the jail from suicide. The Cascade Mall shooter, I think it's pronounced Arjan, it says it right here, Arjan Chetan. Yeah, Arjan Chetan. He hung himself inside a jail cell today. Arjan Chetan, the man charged with killing 5 people in a shooting at Cascade Mall in Burlington, Washington. Devils! Last September was found dead Sunday night at the Snohomish County Jail last night. It says he was discovered hanging in his cell just before 9 p.m. The office could not immediately say why Chetan had been transferred from Skagit County. Chetan, 20, was charged with 5 counts of aggravated first-degree murder for September 23rd, 2016 killings. The charges allege Chetan acted with premeditated intent when he used a rifle to kill a teenage girl, 3 women, and a man at the Macy's women's store inside the mall, 65 miles north of Seattle. Chetan's stepfather, David Marshall, previously told the media that Chetan has had mental issues that we have been working on with him. How sad.
Really minding their P's and Q's when it comes to these fragile inmates.
We're going now. Hi, Heather Bosch in the King 5 newsroom along with Chris Ingalls. Chris, some shocking news today about the suspect in the Cascade Mall shooting.
Surprising to me, definitely, that he apparently committed suicide. I think they found his body last night in the county jail in Skagit County. Am I correct about that? I believe that's where he's
found in Snohomish County.
Snohomish
County Jail. The crime was allegedly committed up in Skagit County at that mall in Burlington. And we're still trying to get clarification on why he was apparently transferred to the Snohomish County Jail. but he was found there this morning. He had taken his own life, at least indications are that that's what happened. You've been studying this case. First of all, jails, aren't they pretty sophisticated, you said? There are ways they can make sure that inmates don't do something like this.
Yeah, you hear about the term suicide watch. Who knows what Mr. Chetton was, how he was listed in the jail medical records. But if he's put on suicide watch, that's usually pretty intensive and labor intensive for the jail. Snohomish County Jail in particular has been under quite a bit of scrutiny after some deaths of inmates there a few years ago, and they were really minding their P's and Q's when it comes to these fragile inmates that they house. Chetton himself has kind of a history. In fact, I've got a record in my hand here of one suicide attempt that he made back in 2015. So at least he has a record of mental health issues, and he might be the kind of inmate that they would be watching very closely.
What else do you know about him, and why would he make this decision?
Yeah, so great question. And in the mind of a guy like this, who knows what the answer is. But I'm going to read you something from this 2016 document where Chetton was being questioned by doctors as part of an ongoing criminal case, not the Cascade Mall shooting. And this doctor says that Chetton reported one suicide attempt in 2015. Mr. Chetton reports that he ingested all of his medications and was then treated at Fairfax Hospital, which is a private hospital I think it's in the Redmond area maybe, for 2 weeks. So he got mental health treatment for a couple of weeks in 2015, and that we've reported previously was an involuntary commitment. So he's definitely had these ongoing mental health issues for some time.
And just to recap here, Archon Chetton, the man charged with killing 5 people at the Cascade Mall in Burlington last September, was found dead, apparently overnight at the Snohomish County Jail. We're still trying to find out why he was transferred to that jail and how he was able to apparently take his own life. You've covered a lot of criminal cases. I'm curious as to what this does to the victims in this case, to know that this man will never stand trial.
You got to believe there's some mixed emotions going on with them, right? I mean, you're fearful of the prospect of a trial where all this information comes up again, but you also want justice.
Right.
You want answers. Is this really the guy that did it? I mean, he is a suspect at this point. It's not been proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. So I just can't imagine what the victims are going through. I just think it's horrible for them, and it's another unexpected thing that kind of blindsides them. They've already got enough difficulty in their life, right? And I don't know. Would they be happy this guy's gone? Would they have wanted the full answers that a trial would bring out?
Perhaps wanting him to be held accountable.
To
sit in a jail and think about what he did.
Absolutely.
Again, he had not been convicted at this point. My understanding was he was waiting for a mental health evaluation. So again, this speaks to situations where we...
Personally, I think it's kind of absurd to think that you would want your perpetrator who killed 5 people, or your daughter or husband or your family member, to sit there and think about what they're doing in jail. Most of those people want the person terminated or on death row. So I don't really get that kind of mentality or thinking. Very few people are like that, who think they, but not only that, but why would, the Bible says, an eye for an eye, but at the same time, we are not to kill people who kill people. But, I mean, we let the law do that. But the point here is that in the Old Testament, that if a man killed a man, then that man was terminated as well. That was the law. The law was meant for murderers and all that. It didn't save anyone. So here you have capital law in today's society, which is correct. You should do the time or do what you've done. And the fact that he killed 5 people, he deserves to die. In my eye, or in my judgment, he definitely deserves to die. But another thing to think about is who wants to pay, over $100,000 a year to have a prisoner sit in jail to think about what they did for years? I don't. I think it's a waste of money. We need to focus on, let God be the judge of him in the afterlife. I believe that's the way it should be. Anyway.
We've had several young men with firearms having mental health issues. What kind of scrutiny do you think the jail will face at this point, knowing that this young man was going in for mental health evaluation? His history indicated he had some issues. What kind of scrutiny can the jail expect?
Well, I wanted to say the cautionary note that we're still learning information here. It's all so fresh and new. Right. But the Snohomish County Jail has been criticized before, and this particular sheriff who runs it has taken a kind of a hard line on making sure that jail isn't overcrowded, that they can provide the medical care, because they were getting criticism for the deaths of inmates who either needed medical assistance or were having drug problems or mental health problems. And, you know, there were questions being raised about whether the Snohomish County Jail was doing enough to keep some of the fragile inmates in their custody safe. And jails have a constitutional responsibility to do this. So it raises these questions all over again.
Wow, and I can't imagine, again, being a victim in this case. If you're the prosecutor, is this just, you close the case? Procedurally, what happens at this point?
It is a question for the prosecutor to answer. You know, a case like this raises a lot of questions about how did this happen, why did this happen, what can we learn from it so that somebody else out there that might be doing the same kind of thing doesn't do it again. That's not...
All right, this goes on for 15 minutes, but here's the thing. We have a society filled with the mother harlot of abominations that has fed a lot of drugs into our world. They pretend like they're not, but they are. Well, now we have Donald Trump is going to get a lot of the drugs out of the U.S. and as I said, a lot, but not all of them, of course. We also have the legal drug, big pharma, killing people. Well, worst thing about that is in the last between 40 to 50 years, 60 years, ever since they started polluting us with boxed foods and, Monsanto and all the other things, we've accumulated many hundreds of more deadly diseases, okay? And autism is one of the top ones. So they present you with all these diseases to kill off mankind. Then they present you with big pharma, make big bucks off of you through big pharma, big conglomerates, big devils are in CEOs making all this money so they can feed it back to the mother harlot to figure out another way to kill you. Then on top of that, they blame it on the people for having the drug problems, when if you just would have never had the drugs here in the first place and would have let us eat normal food, guess what? There wouldn't be hardly any diseases, let alone drug problems, let alone suicides, let alone shooting of 5 people in the first place. And then on top of that, many years ago, they pulled God out of the nation. So if you would have had God, safe, decent food, and got rid of all those other poisons, my goodness, you're going to end up in the millennium now, where Satan is bound for 1,000 years. Thank you for listening. God bless.
If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their